Alright, I'm just making this, it's not a theory video, it's just me pointing something out because someone in the comments of my 83 conspiracy video actually pointed this out. So I'm gonna put the screenshots, but in the video, I originally pointed out that it wouldn't make a lot of sense for the crying child to have been given pills in Fnaf 4, because, in my eyes, if he died anywhere from a few hours to maybe a few days after the bite, what time would they have to both prescribe him some pills and also to where he'd, have them? It's, just something that doesn't make a lot of sense if you think about it. Well, after that video came out, someone in my comments, this person right here, pointed out that, even if nothing else is true, that the prescription drugs point does kind of imply that, the crying child could have survived it for longer than we thought, survived the bite longer than we thought he did. And when I made another comment replying to that one, where I just kind of reiterated my whole thought process on that, the whole just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to prescribe a kid some pills if he's, on the brink of death. But then this person brought up something that, kind of just almost confirmed it for me. Which is, to summarize what you're seeing on screen, basically says, yeah, they're not going to give him solid foods, let alone give him pills. And, if they do give him any drugs, it would likely be through an IV, which we do see in the game, but not any pills. So, there's that. The long story short is that I think, if you want to read into it, the pills could imply that the crying child, I call him Cassidy, survived the bite for longer than we thought he did. And so there's all that. Now I'm going to bring up the counter arguments very quickly before anyone mentions them in the comments. 1, Scott didn't look too far into it, just thought, this'll fit with the whole vibe of this kid was in the hospital after being bitten by a bear animatronic. And all I'm going to say to that is that I've seen theories that bring up stuff that Scott probably didn't look too deep into or hadn't thought that far ahead about, and use that in their theories. Just, ignoring that whole thing. And, all I'm saying is that, sure, go with that if you want, but all I'm saying is, realistically, that's how this would have worked. If he had the pills, that points to him surviving longer than we thought he did in the hospital. The second counter-argument that I saw mentioned in the comments of another theory video was, well, we could be playing as Mike in Fnaf 4, and thus the pills could be his. Maybe sleeping pills, antidepressants, who knows, those were the two options brought up. And on one hand, sure, I could see that, but also the other two items that we see appear alongside the pills are an IV and a vase of flowers, things that I feel would be more connected to the crying child than Mike. So why would we then have two objects, an IV and pills, that are connected to his little brother in the hospital, but then suddenly have pills that are Mike's? I'm not saying this is a no, we're not playing Mike in Fnaf 4. Personally, I think both of them experienced the nightmares at some point, but that we are probably playing as Mike in Fnaf 4 post the bite of 83. But I'm just saying, why would he be seeing two objects connected to his brother, but then just suddenly his pills? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, this isn't a theory video, this is just me pointing something out that I had pointed out to me. And so yeah, long story short, if you want to read into it a little bit, the pills being next to the bed imply that the crying child actually survived the bite for longer than we thought he did, because if he had just died a few hours or days after the bite, then they probably wouldn't have had time to prescribe him some pills, and 2, they wouldn't have been doing that in the first place. He wouldn't even be eating solid foods at that point. they would have been giving him the medicine through the IV, which we do see. I'm just pointing this out for any theorists who would like to use this information. Perfectly fine. So yeah, anyway, bye guys. You'll be getting a video from me likely sometime tomorrow. See ya, have a good day.